Have you ever got lost while hiking in the woods? I have. In today's video, I'm going to tell you what to do if you get lost on a hike. Today, we're going to be talking about what to do if you get lost while you're on a hike. Has this ever happened to you? You're hiking on a trail, it's super easy to follow, and then all of a sudden, the trail disappears because there's a lot of overgrowth. And then you take a few steps to try to re-find the trail and you can't find it, and then all of a sudden, you've lost your way. That actually happened to me recently, so I'm going to share with you what I did to find my way back and what you can do in the case that you get lost on a trail as well. Okay, the first tip, and this is what I did, is to just stop and admit that you're lost. As hard as it is to do that and admit that you may have made a mistake or gotten off trail, there's no shame in it. So stop and admit that you are lost. The problem is, if you don't do this, if you just continue to try to look for the trail, many times you just get lost even further into the woods. And then that's going to be harder to get out. So you want to just stop, admit that you're lost. Okay, the next tip is to actually stay calm and take a deep breath. It is so easy to panic when you're lost. Do you remember when you were a kid, you may have gotten lost in a big mall? The mall was so huge, so many people walking around, and you can't find your parents. You just panic, rushed over you. That can actually happen when you're lost and you become anxious. The problem when that happens is you want to quickly find your way back on the trail and you make irrational decisions and you can get lost even further. So take a deep breath, count to 10, and remain calm. And that leads us into the next tip, is to really take stock of your resources. What do you have in your backpack? If you can find somewhere to sit, that'll help you remain calm. Go ahead and do so. Open up your backpack, take a sip of water. If you have snacks, get a bite to eat, refuel. Sometimes just sitting there for a moment will clear your head, calm you down. It'll remind you perhaps how to get back onto the trail. But also you can look at other resources you have. Maybe you've downloaded a map of your walk. Maybe you have a cell phone that you could text somebody or place a phone call. Just go ahead, empty out your backpack and see what you have available that may get you back on the trail. So actually, at the beginning of the video, I told you I recently got lost on a hike here in Knoxville. It was a new trail I'd never been on. So one of the things that I had at my disposal was my cell phone. I actually had brought an extra battery with me to make sure I had enough power. And I used my cell phone. I had signal, so I texted my friend, and we actually got on a call. She reminded me, hey, just go to Google Maps. See if you can pin your location and see anything on the map around you that may help me get back on the trail. She also had a great idea. She said, you know the address of where you parked? Map directions back to the parking lot, and you could, walk your way out and get back to where you parked. So those were a couple things that I had at my disposal. All right, for this next tip, I need to give credit to another YouTube channel. I learned this from the Coal Cracker Bushcraft YouTube channel. I will link that below in the description, but make sure you check out his channel. Okay, this is called a waypoint marker. Now, this takes some pre-planning. The idea here is that you have something bright to hang or tie around a tree. It could be a bright towel like I have here. Tie it around the tree. The waypoint marker will allow you to explore in any direction, and as long as you can still see your marker, you can go as far as you want. This will allow you to look for maybe landmarks that you had passed along the way on your hike, or maybe you even find the trail. The marker is there so you don't get even further lost. So you want to be able to, at least at the minimum, get back to your original point that you got lost, and that's where you hung up the marker point. This is actual video footage of the trail that I was on when I got lost. Here's a fence. I took video footage of this rock here. And this is actually another important tip. Take video and pictures of cool landmarks and things that you encounter on your hike. That way, if you do happen to get lost like I did, they can be landmarks that you look for. So I was actually able to get up a little ways on a hill after I was lost to look down to see if I could see these landmarks. Here's the overgrowth. As you can see, the trail had completely disappeared by this point, and I just couldn't find my way back. And obviously here I didn't know what I was doing, but at least I had my smartphone and I was able to map out directions back to the parking lot. If all else fails, you're going to have to make a decision. Do I try to find my way out of the woods and back onto the trail, or do I wait for help? Now, some of that will be dependent on how lost you think you are and the time of day. So if it's getting late, what I do is recommend that you make yourself comfortable. I've got another video, 3 tips for beginner hikers. One of the tips in there took some pre-planning, but if you did this, you'll be golden. And the tip is to tell a friend before you even start the hike where you're going to be hiking, what time you expect to be done with the hike, what time they can expect to hear from you to let them know that you are done for the hike with the hike. So if you've done all of that, they'll know over time that you haven't contacted them, you may be lost, and they can call for help and somebody can come rescue you. And there you have it, my tips for what to do if you get lost on a hike. I hope this never happens to you, but it's all about admitting that you're lost, staying calm, observing around you, using the resources that you have, using technology, your waypoint marker, and then waiting for help if all else fails. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you found it useful. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for other videos just like this. And I'll see you in the woods, but don't get lost.